Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another introductory video from one of my friends, a great presenter, colleague, and she is freaking amazing. But most importantly, this is for the Global Grief Conference 2025. This is our third annual year, and yes, we are bringing everything to the table. This is going to be a weekend filled with education, support, love, resources, but also a place where you can come and find your pathways of healing. Now, without further ado, guys, I'm going to bring up my next guest. Help me welcome my sister to the show. Claire, how you doing, friend?
I am well. I am well. Good to see you, my friend.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh man, I'm excited for this year's conference.
It
Right?
looks bigger and better than ever.
Oh man, well, you've been here since the beginning, right? Since we first started this back in 2022. And so, what are you excited for this year?
I'm excited because I think it gets deeper, it gets richer, and it gets wider and broader. I mean, you're bringing new things into the mix every year, and it just is going to reach so many people. Grief is so universal, and the healing of it has to be universal too. So each of us on this conference each bring our own flavor to the healing process, because we can't let the losses and pain that we have in life become permanent stumbling blocks. So, how do we navigate? How do we get into a clearer, cleaner, more whole place after the things that happen to us? So, that's my ethos at You Can Heal Your Grief, which is my website, by the way, youcanhealyourgrief.com. And so I'm looking forward to bringing a brand new workshop to the table.
All right, good. Well, let's talk about how did you get into this work? So give the audience just a brief rundown of how you got into this work.
Just the briefest of notes is that they say do what you know. I come from grief and trauma, all the way back to my first memory. So that's what I have devoted my life to, helping other folks manage and overcome. Doesn't mean I have all the answers. It just means I have a lot of experience in dealing with the hardest things in life and helping folks navigate and ask questions and what works and what doesn't work and how do I avoid the pitfalls. And let me bring my 40 plus years of experience to the table for you and walk by your side, back into, or sometimes for the first time, into some light and some ease in your life. I like it much better on the other side of it, where we're not swallowed by it, where we're not soaking in it. I spent a lot of years soaking in all of the sorrow and suffering that I come from. And it's so much better when we have the tools and the resilience to move forward and get the most out of this wild and precious life.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful part about it is that it's more talked about now than it's ever been, right? We have so many amazing people in the world that are doing some amazing things that come from different walks of this thing that we call grief. This
Exactly.
multiverse, right? You know what I'm saying? This huge octopus and the tentacles are so vast, right?
Vast.
But and I'm glad to see the amount of people that have stood up and said, you know what, I want to do something with this. And
Exactly.
yeah, and that's a beautiful thing. And now you've had the chance to meet the presenters, a lot of the presenters that are going to be at this year's conference.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts?
Just a huge array of humanity. I just love that. And just every perspective you can think of, some really creative thinkers, and some just beautiful ideas about how to heal. It's as
Mhm.
limitless as each of us is, and that the possibilities are endless. And when you get into those moments of sorrow, sometimes you don't believe that there's a way out, but there absolutely is, and it can be
Yeah,
crafted to each individual person. And that's what I try to do with my clients is I do a deep dive into who you are and figure out how to navigate that path for you and with you and be your guide along the way. So but that's just me. I mean, there's dozens of people on this conference who find different pathways to help folks. So I hope people find something that they resonate with.
yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, this year we've been able to add in live music, right? we've been able to add in infomercials, supporting people's businesses. We've been able to add in comedy, right? Because no one ever really thinks about, standing up and laughing during comedy, right? During,
You bet.
know, and I think it's just one of those things. It's time for people to understand that you can't have joy in this road that you're along. It just takes a long time to get there,
It can. It can. And it's better to have ideas and perspective and tools and resources to help you, because nobody really does it just by chasing ourselves around the inside of our skulls.
Right,
That's
right.
just going to make you dizzy, and then you'll fall down, and then you won't you won't have gotten anywhere, and you're still going to be suffering. So
Very,
um,
very true. Very
yeah,
true. Now,
yeah.
what day and time are you presenting on this year?
Yes, I will be live streaming on Saturday, April 26th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time for those of you on the East Coast. And my talk is something so universal, so profound. Literally everybody asks me about this and has dealt with this. And so the title of my talk is Allies Through the Anguish. When you're dealing with other people during the course of a loss, before, during, and after, you're going to have to run across a number of different types of folks. There are
Mm,
going to be, and this is a very rough sketch of the three categories of folks that you're going to run across. One is the allies; those are the angels, the people who know exactly what to do. Those are the folks you're so grateful for. Then you've got the clumsy, the ones who mean well, but manage to say or do exactly the wrong thing.
mhm,
And they
mhm.
mean well, they have good hearts, but they just take the wrong path to get there. And then there's a whole category that's just, oh, it's the awful. Somebody's going to say something that's totally out of line, unprofessional, surprising. Did I really hear that? Well, how do you manage that when you're in that suffering state of mind? So I'm going to walk
Mhm.
people through all of those possibilities and a few other more subtle ones in how to come out the other side with as few poor experiences as possible.
Most definitely, most definitely. And but also you have a book as well, right?
I do, and this is. Let's see if I can show it on the camera. Yes, "Putting Out the Fire" is the book that I wrote um, in response to when my mother passed, and this was 30 years ago now. I could not find a book for how to deal with that immediate shock that
Mm,
in that first week or so, where you have a million things to do, 1,000 different decisions, but you can't think straight. You can't navigate. You can't feel correctly. You've forgotten how to drive, how to eat. What's my name? But by the way, could you do 17 really important things in the next 5 minutes? Ooh, that's a lot. So I broke it
mhm.
all down. The subtitle is Nurturing Mind, Body, and Spirit in the First Week of Loss and Beyond. And so I walk through so many of those options. Also, there's parts of my talk are taken from the book. So the book is a beginning point. Um, how to take care of yourself in the longer term, how to take care of your health, manage it. What business things do you need to take care of immediately, and what can wait? So there's a lot coming at you, and I just never found a concise resource for just that. And that's why I made this book is super thin. You can read it in a couple of hours, but it's chock full of information. It's also got a big chunks of my own personal story of how I came to all of these conclusions in my life. And it just, I didn't have the focus to wade through 300 pages of a grief book to find the paragraph that might apply to what I was asking. So after a while of getting frustrated, I said, you know what? I'm just going to write it. So that's what I did. And whether it actually is immediately after a loss or later on in life, we all stumble across times when we have these things to deal with. So even if it's not an immediate loss, the loss may be 10 years ago, or it may be a different kind of loss. I've literally had every single person who's gotten this book has said they found things of use for them. And some people get several. And then when there's a loss in the family, they have it available to just hand it to a family member and say, you know what, here's something that might be helpful. So it's short, it's concise and compassionate, and hopefully full of some little kernels of ideas to help you navigate those beginning times.
People find it.
Aha, yes. On my website, yes, it's on Amazon, but if you could buy directly from the author, I would deeply appreciate it. But my website is youcanhealyourgrief.com, and it's on the page called My Book, and it's Putting Out the Fire. If you search for that and my name just in general on Google, you will find me. And and then if you buy it directly from me, I can overnight it to you with a signature. I can sign it to whomever you'd like as well. So let me know what you need. I'm happy to put this in your hands.
I love that. I love that. And during your presentation, what can people expect to take away from it?
Answers. I love giving people real solutions, practical solutions for how to navigate. It's really how do you, if you're on a boat in the middle of the ocean and you can see where you want to go, but you can't quite get there. I like to provide that guide, because those moments where you run across those people who are painful, it requires an answer immediately, because they're standing right in front of you and they've said something that you don't know how to handle. So I'm hoping that people have a little bit more ease for dealing with those difficult situations and have some real solutions on hand, so that so that the process creates less painful memories instead of more. Everybody's got a story about that one person who was amazing. How do you find that amazing person? How do you be that amazing person when your friend or family member is in need as well? So, and how do you avoid yourself saying those unfortunate things? So I'm going to walk you through some of those as well. So I would say forewarned is forearmed. So you have these things in your tool belt ahead of time to help make your path a little easier.
I love that. I love that, for the simple fact of, no one ever prepares us for these things, right?
No.
You and I, we've talked about this. We've talked about how sudden it is, and then when people get caught off guard, we don't know what to do. Because there's no blueprint for it. There's nobody saying, hey, if this happens, what I'm saying, like, be expected of these things, right?
Exactly.
But and I love the fact that we're actually preparing people to have these conversations long before they happen, right? So it's not such a huge gut punch, So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Everybody, again, Claire, remind the people of the day and the time that you're presenting on.
Saturday, April 26th, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So hop on YouTube, check it out, and if you'll be able to ask questions during my talk, and I hope to see you there. Please share that for anybody you think would find it of use, which is pretty much everybody.
Yes. And for everybody out there, if you're wondering, save the date, April 25th, 26th, and the 27th. 7 a.m. Mountain Time, starting each and every day, ending at 8:30 Mountain Time each and every day. And we fill the days in with some amazing guests, some fun things that you guys will be able to do along with us. Ask questions. It is live stream. We're streaming on all platforms. But if you really want to catch it and not miss a thing, tune into the YouTube channel or the Rumble channel. So that way guys, you can just sit back in your home and enjoy it from the comfort of your couch, right? Grab some popcorn, invite some friends over, get those questions ready, and, come and join the fun. It's a weekend filled of love, support, resources, and from some amazing people, as I said before, out here changing people's lives one heartbeat at a time, all right? With that being said, guys, we're going to see you guys in the next one, all right? See you.